Good morning, everybody. This is Rob McElec from Mastermind Software. Appreciate you joining us this morning as we present for you a longtime friend and part of the GoldMine, and very important part of the GoldMine ecosystem, which is, well, Steve Pearl as a person and IntelliClick Software as a provider. And so I'll introduce Steve here in just a moment, but first I just want to kind of briefly talk about, for those who are not already familiar with, the place of IntelliClick within the GoldMine system. So if you have GoldMine, you are well aware by now that there are email marketing opportunities generally in the world, and that GoldMine as a CRM product doesn't have built-in email marketing except on a very kind of small scale. It does have built-in links to Constant Contact, which is an outside, web-based email marketing option. But IntelliClick is actually a built-in, sorry, not built-in, but an add-on to GoldMine that really has GoldMine be the center of your marketing, as it really ought to be anyway. The center of all the information that swirls around marketing, from sending out emails, from tracking the results, not just of who opts out of your email marketing, but who actually positively responds to it, who goes to your website, who clicks even further on your website. IntelliClick actually has the ability, as Steve will describe here somewhat. IntelliClick has this ability to track all of the activity around your email marketing and have that automatically flow right into GoldMine without your needing to do uploads out into a separate product, without having to do a lot of the rigmarole that's involved with doing email marketing through an outside product. To me, that's, my experience with IntelliClick is that it really simplifies, first off, it just simplifies the whole basic part of doing email marketing, of just being able to say, okay, here's a set of prospects that I want to reach with a certain message, build my message in HTML, get it out into the world without having to do a lot of uploading and maneuvering and moving around. But that's just the starting point. The real great thing is the level, the quantity, the detail of information that you get back right into GoldMine again, with the ability to have it trigger activities and to have it completely integrated with your sales activity, so that you really get a nice 360 view of how your marketing affects the actual result in sales, so you can iteratively go back to your process of marketing and understand how your efforts relate to what you're actually selling, what people are actually doing on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I'm going to pass the wand over to Steve Pearl. Steve is the product development director at Business Automation Solutions, a longtime GoldMine dealer. So he understands GoldMine intimately as well. But of course, focusing today on IntelliClick and actually some newer aspects of IntelliClick that really enhance the product further. So I'm going to pass it off to Steve.
Well, Rob, thank you very much. Appreciate the introduction, and I do want to welcome everyone who's on our presentation today. I'm going to just add just a little to what Rob told you about our product, and it'll be part of our agenda this morning. Briefly, we'll just look at an overview of the product and some of the really important highlights of what IntelliClick brings to the table, what kind of benefit it brings to your organization when using integrated email marketing in tandem with your GoldMine CRM. We're going to focus on two what we think are fairly distinguishing features: our action request from a click and our newer advanced event management module, the one that allows you to very quickly get people signed up. Some of you experienced a part of this when you signed up for today's event by clicking to immediately register. And then we'll leave it open for some questions and answers. We think that, I will have about 30 minutes to go through some of the different pieces and then allow time for any questions that you might have along the way. If you do have questions, feel free to post them in the chat window of the meeting. And then I'm sure Carnegie and Rob will keep an eye on that, and we can review those when we get to that part of our presentation. So I did want to just build briefly on what Rob just told you about our company and about our product. But IntelliClick came along as one of the first CRM integrated email marketing tools. We introduced it in 2007. It definitely was the first integration with GoldMine, but even to this day, there are a very limited amount of solutions out there that integrate email and digital marketing with your CRM system, so that, as Rob mentioned, you have a 360-degree view of what people are interested, tied into the place you interact with them. We do, when we developed IntelliClick, the whole idea was to just try and increase the synergy between the marketing department and sales, for that matter, and those who are using the CRM system. So what we tried to do is see if there was a quicker and more timely way to tell sales when somebody was interested, what they're interested in, so that the follow-up could be more effective and timely. The product's been in the market and sold worldwide, so we do have it being represented all throughout the world, with hundreds of companies who currently have it deployed in-house. And as Rob mentioned, probably one of the most important things is that an attractive feature is that the information stays within your environment. It does not require you to move data out of your environment to some other location. I apologize for that. I'll make sure we turn that off. So the difference with what you may have experienced if you use other email marketing tools is you typically do have to upload data, and IntelliClick just uses the information that resides right inside your own environment. And we're going to talk a little bit too about the highlights of the capabilities that IntelliClick brings to the CRM environment. So these are the big picture highlights of our product. The integration, of course, being the most important one, the ability to have a campaign sent from right inside your own business environment, using the data in your GoldMine system, and immediately seeing the results coming back as people start to react to the campaign. We always felt that just telling you who opens or clicks was only giving a half the picture. And so we introduced right at the outset the ability to also see what they do on your website as they browse and look at the different things based on having gotten to the website through a click. So we, affectionately call that going beyond the click, and it does allow us to give you web browsing behavior tied to your campaign and to the specific person who's doing that. We do try to bring together, and actually the reports and dashboards, not only ones inside of GoldMine, but also the ones that Mastermind offers, because Mastermind has put together a nice series of IntelliClick specific reporting in all ways. So there are numerous ways for you to really dissect the results and then be able to take action on them. One thing I like about the Mastermind offering is that once you do pull up results, you can then go ahead and build out a group and take some type of action, schedule actions to the appropriate salespeople for follow-up based on different types of results that you review through the reporting available to you. We also felt that it was important to keep your staff engaged. So email and text message alerting is definitely one of the pieces that we feel is very important to our tool. You are able to assign that behavior to any specific link for a specific campaign. It's really very much something you decide what's important enough to keep your marketing and salespeople in the loop from a reaction to the campaign. Over the years, we've added the ability to also trigger some automation. So many of you may be aware that GoldMine has what's called automated processes, the ability to set a series of triggered actions, and we can set that action to be taken by GoldMine so that the automation track begins. And commonly this could be used for things like drip marketing, so that you can start, based on a reaction to a campaign, further steps. And those drip campaigns with emails in them can also be tracked automatically as people react to those subsequent messaging. We felt that it was very important to have good data in your database. So when you're doing your email marketing, trying to keep information correct and up to date with your contacts is something that's crucial if you're going to be effective. And so over the years, we brought in things like our update and verify module that allows you to have people automatically keep their data correct in your system by simply going to a little form that automatically passes back any updates that they provide you and keeps your system up to date through that mechanism. This year, coming up literally this quarter, we're introducing a new feature to it, and we think this is an exciting one because this is really starting to pull all the information that you have, not only in the CRM side of the equation, but in the digital marketing side, and allow you to put scoring against both. So you can score what your staff is doing when things are being logged to GoldMine history, and compare that to the scores that you're assigning to digital behavior, opens, clicks, so even down to very specific views of certain pages on your site. And then identify where there may be a lot of interest being shown through your digital marketing, but there's a gap because there's not enough attention being paid based on what's being logged in GoldMine history. So this opportunity gap measurement does allow you to quickly see where there are some possible opportunities available to you with the gap. The bigger the gap, of course, the potentially bigger the opportunity would be. So keep an eye out. That's something that is being introduced probably in early November, and it's really on the, we think is a very exciting enhancement to what IntelliClick brings. So let's move on to the first of two features that we are going to demonstrate and zero in on. The first being the one-click action request. So often people, when you are sending out a campaign, might have interest in either receiving some literature, speaking to somebody, or having some type of an action taken by your salespeople, but don't necessarily want to necessarily pick up the phone and call, although ideally that's what you would like to encourage. But we do give you a way to very easily give them a single click from a link that can schedule the type of action they're requesting into your system, have that immediately pop up so that if you're in the CRM system, it tells you right away. It can go to the assigned salesperson, so it can be dynamic, and it can also make sure whoever's involved is notified by email that they need to take action. That way, if you're not in front of GoldMine, you're not in the office, you're not at your desk, you still get the notification, you can take that action immediately based on the alert that you receive. Because these can be either static or dynamic, you have a lot of flexibility in who gets the notifications. We make it so that you are able to use your assigned salespeople as recipients to all kinds of different alerting, and also have the information that goes back to your recipients, like a literature fulfillment, come from the person that's assigned to the account. So it does make it very seamless to interact and have sort of a bi-directional interaction going on between your salespeople and the recipient with minimal effort on their part. We've made it to be sure that these requests are legit. So we found that it's important to have a two-step process to be sure that people are confirming the request and that it isn't something being triggered by robot and things like that. So we do have it where it is a two-step confirmation. They click, they confirm it, and that actually then brings it into play for you in your system. And then as with everything we do, our landing pages with IntelliClick are all branded to you only. So it uses your logo and it brands fully. You have the option of using our special behavior landing pages with your logo, or you can use your own landing pages and have those be things that go directly into your website if you prefer. Ours receive various kinds of information, as you'll see in a moment, and so a lot of clients do like to use our pages, but with their branding to kind of manage the actual reaction and response to the different clicks that we offer up. So these action requests, basically examples of how they're often used is requesting a phone call, a quote request, a proposal request. Those are very common sort of action types of things you can offer up to your audience and have it immediately schedule that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to show you an example of how this actually plays out. I'm in our GoldMine system. This is a very current version of GoldMine that we're in, but we are very much compatible with all versions of Premium Edition GoldMine, going back all the way probably into over 10 years ago. So you don't have to worry which specific version of GoldMine you're in for this to all work. We have compatibility pretty much across the board on Premium Edition. Now, you're seeing an example of a record here that already has all kinds of information populated. So just as a brief little tour, the Click Track tab is where we store information. So as people react and respond, this is where we're tracking the behavior. And it makes it very easy for you to quickly see exactly what was the most recent things they've done. In this case, whether it was specific page views that they saw called web navs. Clicks are actual links you gave them in your email where they went from that click. And of course, we're tracking it by the campaign name. We make sure to capture dates and times of the behavior and the person who did it. So GoldMine, as you know, allows you to have primary and additional contacts. We do track everyone, no matter whether they're primary or additional. It all really ties back to people's email address as to how we are tracking the behavior that's going on along the way. Now, as far as building email templates, I think Rob mentioned that we too offer, and many of our clients use a very nice little tool called Mail Styler. I'm showing you now a little example of a template that's being built inside the Mail Styler tool. It is a really nice tool that you have the option of using if you don't already use something to build your HTML emails. It's a nice little drag and drop type of editor. It basically uses various types of blocks and cells and all kinds of images. You can create all kinds of libraries to be able to quickly access the different types of imagery that you want to drag and drop right into your messaging. And these can be brought in and imported for future use, or you can create your library from images that are already being used from prior emails. So it really is a very nice, simple little editor, but what's important is that it gives you the ability to create mobile optimized and well-rendered emails that are being received across all the different types of email clients out there. So it's very important that if you're going to put out email campaigns, that ideally they're well viewed by your audience, and so this tool just makes that very possible right here. What you're seeing here is an example of the messaging that would have been sent to you to come to attend today's presentation. And so this is just a little sample of it. You can see that even right down to the buttons and the ability to insert all kinds of different imagery and icons to the buttons. Really very professional tool, very straightforward and simple to use. So that's definitely a recommended tool that comes along with the IntelliClick product. The other thing is the IntelliClick Wizard, which is something that is launched and used right inside of GoldMine. So this tool allows you to quickly build out the various types of behavior that you might want for your campaign. So the ability to set special types of clicks, the one we're about to look at here in a moment is a action request, is all handled through the campaign tracking module. As you walk through the wizard, if you are building a special advanced type of click, you simply add in your campaign name that you want, or go back and use a name that you may have already used in the past that you'd like to use for this. and then you move along to pick the type of special behavior you want generated. The one I'm going to show you an example is this action request. And with the action request, we give you just a few simple pieces of information that you would complete to generate the hyperlink. The screen that's presented to you allows you to decide, well, what kind of action am I allowing them to schedule into my GoldMine environment? We default to a phone call. We also, if you've got assigned fields in GoldMine where the actual salesperson is designated, it will automatically use that field, or you can say, no, I'm going to designate this specific campaign and this click to go to Bill. Let's say Bill's our inside telemarketer or inside salesperson who's going to follow up on this specific campaign. And then you can just simply tell it what type of request or type in the information you want it to reference that will then be seen by the recipient when they click on the landing page, and what the salesperson will see when it's scheduled in GoldMine. Again, we make sure that if automation is appropriate and you want this to go not just simply to schedule, but to even put them on some type of a track, it will handle the track. I do apologize here. Hang on just a moment. Okay. And so it will allow you to assign different types of automation if you wish at time of click. But most importantly, it allows you to also set an email alert. So we're trying to make sure that the action isn't just something that's just being put into GoldMine without very much bringing it immediately to the attention of whoever has to take that action. And then the final step is generate the hyperlink and put it into the message you're creating. So in all cases, our wizard takes and generates the entire coding that's needed for you, and then you can just go in and highlight a word, let's say, and simply say, I want to make this a hyperlink in this case, and set the actual behavior that it's going to take by just pasting that link that's on your clipboard right here, and you're all set to go. Let me just make sure that that was being set as a hyperlink. So an example of how this all would play out is I'm just going to go over here to my inbox and just show an example of an email that has some behavior in it. So here's an example of a little sample email template, and in it we have a call me now button. So this is that one-click action request that we were talking about. A click to that button drops them on the landing page. The logo, of course, would be your own logo that's presented to them on our landing page. They then can confirm by clicking proceed, and that now actually will pass that request right into the GoldMine system and will schedule the action right into the actual contact record to which that action needs to be taken. So it's a nice little two-step clean process that will fully integrate that back into GoldMine and bring it right into this environment, schedule it to the salesperson responsible, and now they can go ahead and take action. If an email is associated with it, and there it is, it just popped up. So here is my little call that just got scheduled just now to the account. I can say go to view contact, it takes me right to the account, and I can see here the phone call that just got scheduled today. And I'm thinking that I may have clicked it twice, so let me just make sure we have, no, here it is here, sorry, the appointment engagement through events. This was the one that just scheduled a moment ago. So let's now move back over to our presentation and talk about the other important capability within the IntelliClick environment, and that's advanced event management. Now, for a lot of people these days, getting in front of your clients and having face-to-face meetings has been a very challenging thing within the current business environment. And so we're seeing a lot more activity digitally where people are setting up various types of meetings, very much like we're doing today, where they might meet with their clients and have presentations of new product features. They may be doing educational type sessions with them, but they're trying to stay in front of the client and at least interact digitally with them. And so our advanced management tool makes it very easy for you to use a tool as simple as a GoToMeeting or a Zoom or any other platform that just allows you to build out these meetings, have them sign up for the meeting, and then have a full sequence of reminders that goes back to them to keep them engaged in the actual attendance to the event. The beauty of this tool is it can be used not only against GoldMine and who's in your system, but can also be used on things like your website, where it will allow people to be added to your database at the same time as they click and come in if they're not already an existing contact. So we do check for their existence. If they're not there, add them as a new contact, schedule them to the event, and now you're basically building other opportunities from website, social media, anywhere you want to put that link will allow them to sign up for the event and either be added or we will update their information if they already are in your system. It's as easy as building your own email templates, so everything you create is fully branded and has exactly what you want. You're not at the mercy of a system and what limitations, let's say, webinar systems provide to build out templates and so forth. It just allows you to create your own right here. And we do have the ability for you to then set the intervals that those reminders go out automatically. So pre and post event communication already gets handled through this. And again, can be used with absolutely any meeting tool out there. What we are offering today is for those of you who do purchase the premium edition of IntelliClick, we will provide you a free account with GoToMeeting that allows up to 250 attendees per meeting that you schedule, with no limit to how many of those you can do during the course of a year. And so we will provide that to you. You will have the opportunity to have that if you don't already have some type of a meeting tool, and that will be included with your purchase of IntelliClick Premium. So let's just briefly show you how this little tool plays out in the IntelliClick environment. So I'm going to go over here to our main menu, and let me make sure that we have GoldMine also up in front of us. And so when you're creating an event registration with reminders, we make it a nice simple little window for you to create brand new events, or you can go back and update and reuse an event that's already scheduled. So here's an example where I choose an upcoming event. It fills the screen based on whatever we created initially. If for some reason something has changed, let's say the date of the event has moved. We've now decided to make this, we'll move it back a week to the 27th. So I can now just alter the date depending on the templates I've created. I can always take a quick look and see what templates are currently in use for my presentation. If I create alternate versions of them, I can just simply repoint to that template and now use an updated version. So you can quickly generate modifications through, let's say, MailStyler as an example, and then quickly make that your confirmation or pre and post event messaging. I'm going to go ahead just to update that in our system. And then if I do proceed to create a link for my template, I just move forward to the next screen. It does check to see whether you want somebody notified at the time of those people clicking to sign up. So if you choose that you do want to have an alert, then this will immediately allow you to fill in one or multiple, up to 3 email addresses that you can instantly alert to tell your staff that these people have signed up for that event. So this will generate an alert similar to the alerts we do for other types of links, if you choose to want to do that on the event click. When I move forward and I just confirm that my information for the meeting is correct, I'm then presented with a screen that allows me to create a few different types of links. I can instantly generate the link that's used for the people that I'm sending in my database this message to, and that's a one-click sign me up. No forms to fill in, just sign up. But you can also generate the web form link, and that web form link is the one that you can now use on your website. You can use it in social media, anywhere you'd like to drive people to attending the event. That too will do exactly the same as the one click, only it's driven from a web form that captures potentially new people into your system along the way. And then finally, we give you the ability to create an add to calendar hyperlink. That link can be used in many places to quickly allow people to just put this event right on the calendar, whether it's from your confirmation email or other ways that they might engage through that. Many of you already experience the landing pages that would put you on. But if, let's say I show you as an example here, a button to register yourself or register a colleague, the register a colleague is the one that is actually pushing out to a form. Of course, this form would contain your logo, pass in the information, and they can now complete the event registration and submit it. This would be one way to get people who are not yet in your system or are just visiting your website to simply come to these presentations and be registered through that process. If you go the route of using the OneClick, which many of you experienced for today, this will just simply drop you right onto a confirmation page that again is branded to your company, passes in some information to confirm what they've signed up for, and then they're able to actually add this to Outlook and other email, I should say other calendaring software that they may be using right here. So this is our standard event confirmation landing page that takes them right to the a confirmation page. And so I do want to move now to allowing for some questions to see if there's anything that you've seen today that you'd like a little more input or on about IntelliClick in general, trying to keep this to our 30-minute time slot that we talked about to allow for some time for questions and answers. So Rob and Carnegie, do we see any questions out there right now that are being posted? I think I just saw one pop up. Go ahead.
So there's just a question on the pricing.
Got it. And of course, you know, all the details around our pricing is something that certainly the folks at Mastermind will be able to help you with. But we do offer three levels of the product, and maybe the simplest way to show that to you is if I just go to, and on our page we have our price page. So these are the 3 levels of the product that we offer. And the functionality below that shows you what you get depending on the version. The one that has all the features I showed today, including the advanced event registration, is under our premium product. And so that has an annual subscription rate of $2,495 a year. And so that would give you a very comprehensive set of capabilities. And again, the details around those capabilities are shown in this grid. And if you go to the IntelliClickSoftware.com site, this is what you would see. Our intermediary product has a lot of advanced functionality. And so that is at $19.95, and our base product that has certainly most of the core capabilities, including the OneClick action requests, is at $14.95 annual. So those are 3 price points, and depending on the functionality, the degree and level you want, the range is about $1,000 from our basic to our most advanced product. Other questions, if there are any?
Steve, I have one, which is just kind of that's more of a curiosity question, I guess. And relates to the pricing here. So, in relation to let's say constant contact, which and the way I would want to ask this is, I mean, I've worked with both. I've worked with IntelliClick and I've worked with constant contact, and I know the kind of rigmarole that you have to do with the uploading and all that other stuff. So sort of keeping that in mind, the basic standard IntelliClick in comparison to constant contact. Can you just say a couple of words about that?
Sure. So as I mentioned, the most important thing is that in our tool, everything starts and finishes inside your GoldMine environment. We use groups as your list. So when you create a group for that given mailing, that becomes the list that we're going to use to do the mailing to. whether it's to primary, additional, whatever part of the database you want to market to. I think what's very important too is that Constant Contact and many other products, their pricing for their system is tied to how many people overall that you track. So if you're trying to market to different segments of your database and you upload people for different types of mailings, the number you store in Constant Contact drives that pricing. With us, our pricing is the same no matter how big your database is, no matter how many different segments you want to market to. So that's one important difference is you can really fully use your entire database and you're not paying a different price based on how many people at any given time you want to market to and track. In terms of results, Constant Contact, if you use the GoldMine integration, there is an integration that does allow you to have information flow back. You manually need to ask it to go get that information as opposed to having it automatically come into your system. Ours is an automatic, as it happens, we receive and update your system instantly with the information. So this click track is being populated within seconds of people doing something. With Constant, you need to go get the data. It stores it in the history of GoldMine alongside all the other history you might be storing. And so now it just, it gets buried in here. But of course, there are ways to isolate and pull out that information through reporting. And I'm not sure if there's, do you have mastermind reporting against it, Rob? I'm not sure if you do for Constant. Is there any specialized?
Yes,
yeah.
We do.
So
there's a toolkit for both, but of course,
both of them. Yeah. So as long as you can do that, right, then that's there. We do also give you some added capabilities like the ability to see what people have done on your website. So Constant Contact only goes as far as telling you who opened and clicked. We give you web navigation behavior. So when I'm trying to take a look at the different behaviors, if I sort this by type and I go down here to web nav, I can actually see every single page view that this person has had for that campaign, what time they spent on the website. So this is a layer that goes beyond what you might have through Constant. This is also included in the standard version. So you do get this as part of our standard. That's some of the key differentials.
Okay, yeah, and I kind of want to lean in on that some too, because I encourage people when you think about GoldMine and marketing together, GoldMine is if you're using it right, if you're using it well, is a hub not just for your sales activity but for your marketing activity as well. That feeds into the sales. And Steve's not going to put it this way, but I say, don't be chintzy. I mean, well, I'll say it this way also. IntelliClick is not significantly, is in fact, in some cases, cheaper than Constant Contact, depending upon, like Steve said, the configuration of people that you're marketing, the number of so they're pretty comparable at that level, and that's not the important driver of whether you work with IntelliClick versus, let's say, Constant Contact or MailChimp or something else that you have to, where it's even less convenient to work with. The real driver ought to be, what can you accomplish out of GoldMine with your existing, your GoldMine investment, the fact that you've got your business kind of built around GoldMine, what can you accomplish with that by just adding what is a relatively inexpensive tool that really encompasses your web activity, your email marketing activity, your event management activity, like all of that stuff is really, this is stuff that the day-to-day business of what you're doing, and it really draws it all together into a single hub that you can manage much more effectively. So, to me, I just think it's like taking GoldMine from 1990s right up to 2020, marketing activity, and that's and that's without the massive investment you would have to do if you were to switch into another CRM application. GoldMine can, with IntelliClick, can manage all of that stuff perfectly well, and in fact better probably than you would do it if you were paying for like a monthly subscription kind of CRM.
Correct. And that is true. And then if you're using any of these tools like Mastermind in your environment already, there really is a way to dig deep into the data. We're bringing a lot of information, but I think what's important is what sense can you make of that data so you can do something for the business. And whether it's the Mastermind deep level reporting that can be used to isolate, build groups, and have you follow it up. The dashboards that we provide that are already inside of GoldMine, numerous ways for you to really quickly get either a high level view or a deep level view of the data to take full advantage of that information coming through the marketing effort. It's not just communication, but it really gives you the ability to take action as a result of the results. Yeah.
Right. And Steve, Steve, I want to thank you very much for doing the presentation for us today. I think those who are watching this live or watching it on the recording will get a great deal of better understanding of how they can really, make GoldMine perform as a modern day marketing engine kind of CRM.
I put the contact slide up so that if there are more questions, or if you're interested in moving forward with our product, Carnegie is probably your best point person at Mastermind to talk to, and her information is on screen to be able to follow that up should you want to do so.
Yep, and we welcome you to do that at Mastermind. So thank you all very much. On behalf of Mastermind, thank you very much, Steve, for presenting for us today. And we look forward to working with you all out there on your marketing.